Raymond. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you, Darius? And thank you for this opportunity.
Respectfully, I'll feel better in half an hour when this will be done and the stress of organizing this will be over. But thank you for asking. Thank you for asking. Listen, Duke Energy is a household name in the States, but for all the people who've joined from all over the planet, can you tell us a little bit more about the organization?
Absolutely. Duke Energy is publicly traded on the New York Stock Exchange, primarily a utility company. It belongs in the Fortune 150. It's headquartered in Charlotte, North Carolina. Our fleet serves about 9 million households, as well as, we generate electricity from hydro, coal, oil, natural gas, solar, nuclear, and wind. And I am part of the nuclear generation group based out of in the US and South Carolina. So we have 6 nuclear power plants, and that's the team which I support.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, like you said, I work as a lead IT analyst at Duke Nuclear. I am primarily responsible for the business needs and the technology needs of the groups that I support, namely engineering and a few more. But having said that, I've been in Duke for about 6 years. Prior to that, I used to be in the ERP world, and I've always been on that bridge of technology and business where those two meet, primarily because I enjoy technical stuff and I love learning business stuff. So, and I enjoy actually bringing business and IT services together so that we can achieve success.
Yeah, we've learned the hard way that nuclear energy is like critical and serious and very hush hush. So, but what can you tell us about the application?
Yeah, it is, what you heard is true. And it's basically, we have this application which basically has information about all the cables on a site. Cables being different types, different voltages, different parameters are there for each cable, the weight, the size, the looks, feels, color coded, everything else. So all those kind of information is held in this simple software, which was created in 1970s and has been used daily since then. So it is a very critical piece of our usage on a day-to-day basis because we need to know what is where before we do anything else. So that's where that comes from. It's not a very large application, but it's an absolutely critical application that we use on a daily basis.
In terms of infrastructure, I'm not going to ask phony questions when I know the answers, right? So, but please correct me if I'm wrong. It uses vSAN for storage. It doesn't. It's a bit too old to actually use a relational database, and you use CICS and green screen and BMS maps for the user interface. Is that correct?
That is correct, and actually, by implementing this solution, we maintained the vSAN structure as well due to time constraints. But it was awesome because we also retained the green screens. Everything was a lift and shift. Absolutely. Yes, we faced a little bit of errors here and there, but as we went along implementation, we did all that. So
it is the very opposite of the kind of approach that Pierre described before, where you take the application, you cut it, you slice it, you break it, and you put it back again in a different shape. You kept it really as it was.
Absolutely, because of course we had different goals. Our primary trigger was pretty much bring down the cost and get rid of the mainframe. So moving from that direction, we got our cue to, hey, we got to keep this minimum, no changes, lift it, shift it, move it away from the mainframe. That was the, main focus with keep our business continuity going, very minimum user interaction, no user training at all. Though that was the background which we based this on, and that's how we kept what was there. Yes, we had to do some changes, tweaks here and there, because as we all know, 95% of the code will compile successfully, but that 5% will take the other 80% of your time. So
Yeah, and if I understand correctly, that this was not your first attempt, right? You've tried. I mean, you not necessarily personally, but you as an organization, you've been trying to move this thing out of the mainframe for a while, haven't you?
Yes, this effort has been coming on and off for a couple of years, actually, maybe about 8 to 10 years prior to me joining, and it has failed on multiple times. It has failed about approximately 3 times, and there were multitude of reasons. The technology was not right, the cost was too high from the vendor, as well as the right resources were not available. So we were pretty unsuccessful historically, and that was my I was given that heads up before going into this project. So so it was I had to approach it with a totally new mindset, and that's where we went through with Raincode.
And now that it's done, how does it feel? I mean, how does it feel? What's the feedback? What's the future? Where are you now with this application?
Oh, it's amazing. As long as no tickets are created, nobody calls. IT always loves that, right? So that's what we have going on. We don't get anything from the system. The users are extremely happy. They came on a Monday morning. They didn't have any. They logged in as usual. Everything was fine. In fact, one of the best compliments which I personally like is when the original developer who was there in the 70s, he's still on site and he still works with the product. And he gave us such a high compliment that he did not expect this to go so smoothly. So that was like the icing on the cake for me. Actually, it was the cherry on the top. We did get a lot of compliments from the business leaders, from the managers, primarily because they had known the history of this application.
So we all can imagine, the financial benefits and because that was the business case, that's what drove this. But any unexpected benefits, something says, oh, this is really cool and nice, but we really did not expect this as a result of this effort.
Yeah, there were lots of hidden features initially when we went through the SOW and all that. We didn't have a whole bunch to work, but as we learned the application, how to use more and more, there were certain programs which were not able to. We never got them working, and then using Raincode technology, we were able to get them running, ability to print and things like that. So there was initially, although that was out of scope, but as we moved along, we say, oh, there is so much of stuff over here we can use. And then we started using that. So that was really unexpected from our end.
So, you have to appreciate that everybody's really listening to you because you are on the other end of the fence they all want to go through, right? You've done it and you're out of the mainframe. Any word of advice, any word of caution to anyone who would consider doing it?
I think, and we had done that before, like knowing what you have to migrate, as well as once you have that list and you work with the technical folks at Raincode, the training that they provide, that you have to learn that product so well because you could miss out on features that are there. So basically, my thing would be to really understanding the Raincode product to see what it has, what it can do, and go from there, because knowing that will speed up your implementation as you go along. That's been my personal experience with working on this product.
Hey Raymond, thank you so much. This has been really great. So you see, it's a journey, but you can get there. And for how long have you been off the mainframe by now?
We went live on August 23rd of last year, and I'm proud to say that we've not had any issues, man. That's like that's amazing. So yeah, we went August, so it'll be a year now. So everything is pretty smooth, and you know how we say in IT, as long as no news is good news. That's our nuclear motto. As long as there's no news, that's good news. So that's how we take it.
Hey, wonderful, Raymond. Thank you so much. This has been really great.